and welcome to Conversations in Public Relations. I'm Mary Fletcher Jones. If you work in public relations in Washington, D.C., then you've heard of Heathere Evans-Keenan. She owns her own company, Keenan PR, and she's won several silver anvils for her amazing work. Heather was president of the National Capital Chapter of the Public Relations Society of America last year, and she's also been nominated for Washington PR Woman of the Year. She's really an amazing person, and you may have met her at a public relations event this year. She recently moderated a panel of experts who talked about ways that public relations practitioners can show value for their work. So I've asked her here to share some of those tips with us today. Heather, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into public relations?
I got started in PR, and I've been in PR for 16 years now, I guess. It goes fast when you're having fun. But I started in broadcast journalism. I worked for the NBC affiliate in my hometown of San Diego, and I did that for a couple of years and just found that I didn't love it. And since then, I really tried out a variety of different kinds of work within the communications field, from internal communications, external. I did corporate, government, agency for a while, and for the last 8 years, I've run a virtual PR firm. So we do PR and marketing. Integrated communications campaigns is really our specialty.
In what ways do you see public relations and communications as a field changing today?
What's interesting, I think, is that it's becoming more and more clear, and this is not necessarily new, but more and more important, that public relations really owns the message, that we report back to the C-levels within an organization, to the decision makers about how the message should be crafted. And in a recent panel that I moderated, that the Public Relations Society of America, the National Capital Chapter in D.C. held, one of the panelists was really making this great point that message is really where the value is. How do we as PR professionals maintain a competitive edge? Well, the way that we do that is by adding value to the organization. And the best way that any communications professional can accomplish that is by owning the message, by recommending to the organization how the message should change based on what's going on in the environment, and really helping to be able to get feedback from the marketplace and really keep an eye on the horizon for trends that are coming that are going to affect the messaging that an organization should be sending out into the market.
What are some of the best and most innovative ways that public relations professionals can show value for the work they do?
I think one of the most interesting things that one of the panelists recently had mentioned is that value, proving value in public relations, is a lot like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. So how do we as PR professionals ensure that we're delivering value for our organizations? There's really a step-by-step approach. Now, the first thing you do is you define it. How does your particular organization define the value of public relations? Does it meld? Is it right, or is there some education that needs to happen with that client? Does it track with the way that you're measuring the value of PR, so that metrics are agreed upon? So there's the first step, and that's let's define how we value public relations and how we measure it. The next one is let's get everybody who is a decision maker in the organization into the room at one time, and we all agree to that definition of value. And then the next step is then to measure it at intervals. One of the most effective ways recently that we've been able to measure and demonstrate what the PR and marketing campaign is doing is mapping things like making connections between the different campaign elements. So if across the campaign there are social media elements, there's direct mail, there's advertising, there's media relations, is mapping all of that to, for instance, web traffic. So if you create a chart that shows, charts out web traffic and actually pinpoints the portions of the campaign at different intervals in time that have happened. So here's when the direct mail campaign went out. Here's when we put out this news release. Here's when we had, the cover story for our top trade publication. And let's watch. And sometimes you can really correlate activities to traffic. It's one of the many ways, to try to show, with hard data, what is really going on in the marketplace. One of the panelists was talking about the need for PR to do its own PR. So we as PR practitioners often forget to do our own publicity about the value that PR is bringing to the organization. One of the things that we do at my firm with clients is mini roadshows. It's real simple. It doesn't have to take a lot of money, but essentially it's either brown bag or mini roadshows at kind of key offices where you can talk to your clients' employees about what PR is doing for the organization and what's going on with the message.
Thanks for sharing those valuable tips with us, Heather. It was great having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Mary. It was great talking to you.